If you've been watching the Tokyo Olympics, you must have seen the letters ROC. ROC stands for Russian Olympic Committee. A team of 335 athletes from Russia is competing under the name ROC, wearing white, blue, and red uniforms. Russia has been stripped off of its key identifying markers like a flag or a national anthem. ROC gold medalists will hear Pyotr Tchaikovsky's Piano Concerto No. 1 at the podium instead of the country's national anthem. The ROC must be publicly displayed as the ROC and cannot be spelled out as the Russian Olympic Committee. This is because Russia, which has historically been among the world's top sporting nations, has been banned from the Tokyo Olympics. But why is Russia banned from the Tokyo Olympics? Russia was banned from all major sporting competitions for 4 years on 9th December 2019 after a string of controversies concerning its athletes' use of banned drugs. The World Anti-Doping Agency issued a statement on 9th December 2019 that said this: "The 4-year ban came after it was found that data provided by the Russian Anti-Doping Agency had been manipulated by Russian authorities with the goal of protecting athletes involved in its state-sponsored doping scheme." WADA also ruled that Russia won't be able to host or bid for hosting any major international sports tournament in the 4-year period. The punishment was cut in half to 2 years by the Court of Arbitration for Sport following a 2020 appeal and now ends in December 2022. But at this year's Olympics, Russia still can't be represented as a country. To understand the full picture, let's go all the way back to 2015. Russia was originally banned from international sports in 2015 after a lengthy report uncovered evidence of a widespread and extensive state-sanctioned doping system.
He banned Russia from all major sports.
The Russian government is accused of helping its Olympic track and field athletes.
Heard from Russian authorities.
Covered rampant doping activity in Russia.
And guess which country got the most medals?
Unfolding in Russia.
Drug testing athlete.
Untainted data from Russia's anti-doping agency.
These are modern echoes of Soviet times.
The inspiration for this investigation was a documentary that aired on 3rd December 2014 on German TV. The name of the documentary was Top Secret Doping: How Russia Makes Its Winners, and it alleged the existence of a sophisticated and well-established system of state-sponsored doping within the governing body for the sport of athletics in Russia. The documentary implicated Russian athletes, coaches, national and international sport federations, the Russian Anti-Doping Agency, and the Moscow Laboratory. Witness statements and other evidence exposed high levels of collusion among athletes, coaches, doctors, regulatory officials, and sports agencies to systematically provide Russian athletes performance-enhancing drugs in order to achieve the state's main goal, producing winners. Dozens of Russian athletes at the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi, including at least 15 medal winners, were part of this state-run doping program. The director of the anti-doping laboratory, Grigory Rodchenkov, developed a 3-drug cocktail of banned substances known as metnolone, trenbolone, and oxandrolone, and he mixed it with liquor and provided it to dozens of Russian athletes, helping to facilitate one of the most elaborate and successful doping ploys in sports history. The drugs helped athletes recover quickly after grueling training regimens, allowing them to compete in top form over successive days. To speed up absorption of the steroids and shorten the detection window, the drugs were dissolved in alcohol. Rodchenkov did not administer the drugs himself but rather provided them to the sports ministry. Russian anti-doping experts and members of the intelligence service replaced urine samples tainted by performance-enhancing drugs with clean urine collected months earlier by somehow breaking into the supposedly tamper-proof bottles that are the standard at the international competitions. For hours each night, they worked in a secret laboratory lit by a single lamp. By the end of 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics, as many as 100 dirty urine samples were expunged. None of the athletes were caught doping. More importantly, Russia won the most medals of the Games, easily surpassing its main rival, the United States, and undermining the integrity of one of the world's most prestigious sporting events. The Sports Ministry of Russia actively guided the doping efforts. Russian officials were under enormous pressure ahead of the Games. Sochi was to be a showcase of Russia's resurgence as a global power, and the entire country was enlisted in the project. Hanging over everything was Russia's disastrous 6th place finish in the medal count at the previous Winter Olympics in Vancouver, British Columbia. In the Sochi Games, Russian athletes won 33 medals, including 13 golds, 10 more than at the previous Winter Olympics. A third of all medals were awarded to athletes who were involved in the government's doping plan. Still, not all athletes on the list won a medal. The entire women's hockey team was doping throughout the Games, yet it finished in 6th place. The pursuit of medals and exploitation of athletes for financial gain is well pronounced across Russian athletics. Russian athletes were often willing participants. However, there are documented cases where athletes who did not want to participate in the program were informed they would not be considered as part of the federation's national team for the competition. After Sochi, Dr. Rodchenkov was awarded the prestigious Order of Friendship by President Vladimir Putin. After the report by WADA came out, Russian officials forced him to resign. Fearing for his safety, he moved to LA, but back in Russia, 2 of his close colleagues died unexpectedly within weeks of each other. WADA recommended that Russia should be banned from the 2016 Rio Olympics, but the IOC rejected the recommendation. In September 2018, after multiple investigations, WADA lifted the sanctions on the condition that Russia must hand over athlete data from its Moscow laboratory to doping regulators, which would help identify hundreds of athletes who may have cheated across various sports. On 9th December 2019, WADA banned Russia from all international sport for 4 years after it was found that data provided by the Russian anti-doping agency had been manipulated by Russian authorities with the goal of protecting athletes involved in its state-sponsored doping scheme. On February 2021, it was announced that Russia would compete under the acronym ROC after the name of the Russian Olympic Committee. The ROC designation means that athletes are competing as neutrals. The 335 Russian athletes competing were able to prove that they had nothing to do with the doping scandal, but they're still not technically competing for their country. They're still wearing the Russian red, white, and blue. ROC athletes have performed well in Tokyo Olympics. ROC finished 5th, right behind Great Britain, winning a total of 71 medals. Russian propaganda has utilized ROC to engender pro-Russian support nationally. Russia's foreign ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova published this video on Instagram.
И хочется процитировать зарубежных партнеров и всем вместе сказать: "We will rock you." Из России.
The hashtag #WeWillRockYou is trending all over Russia. Russia has always denied any involvement in doping and still maintains that this is a conspiracy by the West against Russia. This mural in Moscow depicts Russia tackling WADA, and the hashtag #WeWillRockYou is present even here. If I disappear after publishing this video, just know that Father Putin got me, and I'm probably sitting in a cell in Gulag thinking about poor life choices.